Welcome to The Real Authority. Today I'm talking about Tron Ares, the hotly anticipated third installment in the Tron franchise. Basically sees Jared Leto play Ares, an AI who enters the real world, where he questions whether or not he should follow the orders given to him by a high-tech CEO or break off and discover what it truly means to be alive. So far he's only as alive as he needs to be. I saw the other two Tron movies a little while ago. The trailers for Ares really sold me onto the fact that this could be amazing. And watching the other Tron movies, it seemed like it would be that. I can understand why the original Tron has become this sort of cult classic. It's absolutely beautiful, well, for the time. I mean, maybe the visual effects are not up to today's standards, but that doesn't change the fact that they're so charming. Plus the story, while nothing amazing, gets the job done. Legacy is just as good. I wouldn't say better, but it definitely does scream 2010s action movie, but it still keeps the spirit of the original alive, which I really did appreciate. Maybe Clue's de-aging is bad, but the rest of the CGI is good, and Daft Punk's soundtrack, man. So of course with Ares, they were hyping up Nine Inch Nails as their successor, and I might as well start off with that. Yeah, the score is better. The soundtrack was really good. I'm not undermining the legacy of Daft Punk's original soundtrack, but I felt like Nine Inch Nails were like, alright, bet. And I felt they did great work. If you need a reason to see these movies or seek them out, the soundtracks are absolutely one of the best reasons why. Daft Punk and Nine Inch Nails were at the top of their game. The other positives, the acting was really good. I felt like Jared Leto. Say what you will about the guy, but bad actor is definitely not something you could say about him, so he does good work. The rest of the actors do good work too. But since this movie is literally named after his character, he's the one you need to really feel for. And while the script doesn't successfully do that, Jared Leto at least does a good job. For Joachim Roning, I felt like his direction was really solid. Another legacy to follow up, Joseph Kosinski, director of Top Gun Maverick, F1, and Tron Legacy. So he had big shoes to fill, and I felt like he filled them good enough. Jeff Cronenweth's cinematography was also stunning. I always compliment the cinematography when it's good. Plus, the action and visual effects were strong. I feel like there's three constants with Tron Ares in terms of their strengths. The score, the action, and definitely the visual effects. They were top-notch. Oh, and also, this scene with Jeff Bridges, I was not expecting them to go that hard in terms of recreating the style of the original Tron. I felt like that was my favorite part. Nothing against the absolutely incredible visual effects that surround it, but I really did feel their attempt to pay tribute to the original really did work, even if it suffers because of its story. Okay, one other positive. I saw it in IMAX, and I do feel a lot of movies benefit from the expanded 190 IMAX ratio, and this movie is no exception. It absolutely was a blast to see 50% of the movie on the biggest screen possible, as it basically fills up the screen, and you absolutely get the opportunity to experience the score and the visual effects in the best ways possible. What sucks is that's the extent of my positives, which really does stink. I feel like one of the main reasons why this movie kinda didn't exceed expectations is the script. The story it weaves was kind of bad in terms of this franchise. Like, I'm not saying the other two movies' stories were perfect, but they got the job done. Plus, they rely on being in the Tron world. I do feel this movie had a lot of potential since they were bringing Tron. Well, Tron's the wrong word because Tron is a character. Did you know that? Did you know that this entire franchise was based on one character, Tron? And he's not even in this one. He was at least in Legacy. Spoilers. I don't think that's a big one, but I do feel with the screenplay, it really does try to add on top of itself, not only in terms of the developments, but also the characters. Character overload was definitely felt. I mean, there's more than one villain in here. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there are like three separate antagonists who are just trying to move the plot along, and I don't feel any of them really succeeded, which is a huge letdown considering the fact that Clue and the Master Program, or Master Commander, whatever the guy's name was in the first movie, well, not guy, that was the CEO, but the program that he was controlling, or that version of the Master thing, that was menacing, with awesome retro 80s effects. Here, disappointingly, none of them stand out. Plus, the plot sometimes gets confusing, mainly because of the overload of characters, overload of plot developments, and it's just too much, considering the fact that the other movies kind of get to the point, and again, they were set in the grid. And those movies don't take that long to get to the grid. This movie really doesn't focus on the grid, and I do feel that was a huge detriment. But the concept of bringing this cyber world into the real world, I thought that had a lot of potential, but this movie never lives up to it. In fact, that's what I can say about the entire movie. It really never lives up to its potential. With Ares, Jared Leto's character, again, a good performance. But the movie doesn't give him a compelling story. It was so easy, too. It could have been cool. It could have been fun. It could have been an interesting dynamic, but I do feel Ares is not as developed of a character as he should have been. And the fact that the other characters really do not matter, and you feel that in like the first 10 to 30 minutes, that this movie really does not know what it wants to be or what characters to truly focus on. There's like two, and the movie really does not give them a lot to do. Even when Kevin Flynn shows up, he's like a cameo, and the movie tries to make a big deal out of him, and it never succeeds. I liked seeing him, but it did feel like Jeff Bridges was getting the easiest paycheck of his career. I don't blame him. And with the mess of a story, it oddly becomes boring, which is shocking considering Legacy is like 10 minutes longer than this. But the 1 hour and 59 minute runtime does no favors. It left me bored, and I do not say that lightly. Like, as good as the score, the visual effects, and the action are, they're almost taken down by how much the movie just has so many pacing issues that's ridiculous. I still yield that those three elements, especially the score and the visual effects, are top notch, but they need a good story complementing it. This movie really fails in that regard. I'm probably being too harsh on Tron Ares, but I do feel I'm justified in a lot of ways, because the other two Tron movies have gradually become cult classics, and I can see why. So maybe that will happen with Ares, but as of now, on October 9th, 2025, it's just not as good as the other two. Maybe it'll gain a reputation like those two movies, but I really do feel it's overshadowed by those two installments and the individual elements, especially Nine Inch Nails' awesome score and the dazzling visual effects, but sometimes that's not enough to carry a movie. The IMAX did save it a bit, but not enough for me to call it a good movie. So if you see it in theaters, it's probably best to do IMAX. If you don't do that, it's not good enough to approve, not bad enough to reject. If you're curious, wait until streaming. 5 out of 10. Also, isn't it funny that the original Tron's Rotten Tomato score, like a week ago when I saw it, it was like 71% and fresh, certified fresh, but now it's like 61. That's weird. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and comment your thoughts on the movie, and let me know what you think of the other two Tron movies and of this video. Alright, peace.